Welcome to RenovatingRichesRadio.com with your hosts, Dennis Rodriguez and Ricardo Rosales. The show where we talk about turning rags into riches.
We are not responsible if this is not a word for you. Read the fine print only. Do not believe a word we say. Results may vary depending on how much self-education and due diligence you do. This is only for the action takers and serves as entertainment.
Good morning, everyone, and this is sounding a little bit loud. How's everyone doing? Ricardo, how are you?
Doing great.
And we have a very, very special guest today in our show. A guy that has been helping us for many, many years with our training and training our people for Same as Cash. And he came all the way from the West Coast.
From Orange County, California.
You want to introduce him, Ricardo?
So this is a person that I've actually met at a seminar a few years ago, and we connected right away.
You became buddies.
He was presenting from stage, and we just hit it off and ran with our relationship pretty much, and then we stayed connected for a few more years. So Ruben Mata. It's our personal trainer in Same as Cash. It's also a speaker a peace speaker to the United Nations. He's an ambassador to the United Nations on behalf of the United States. He's also helping people transition from being incarcerated into the world.
And I guess he's going to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I just want to do a little introduction.
Uh-huh.
And let me do a little introduction. So this is somebody that you want to really pay attention to on what how you can grow personally and how you can better yourself. We are honored to have him in our team, and he came this weekend and delivered a great seminar for some of our associates and friends. So without further ado, Ruben, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Mr. Ruben Mata.
Oh my goodness, Al, you're very welcome, and thank you for allowing me to be here and to present some technique strategies to better everyone's life. So thank you very much.
Excellent.
Perfect. So let's go straight up to the meat and potatoes, man. Who is Ruben Mata? Where does he come from?
I'm from Orange County, California, and growing up in a gang challenge neighborhood, I learned to understand that I don't have to be a product of my environment. Because it was very challenging seeing my friends and associates being, incarcerated and through things and decisions that they made, and to still be able to come out and still associate with them, but not have to have the results they had.
Right. Now, were you one of the good kids back then? Or were you one of the bad kids? Because you're either good or bad.
Yeah, no, there's
the
no
neighborhood.
there's
right?
no in between. But no, it was being part of the environment and maybe not knowing it was bad.
Right.
Because it was normal to us.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, you don't like when I was growing up, I associated with a bunch of other kids that were alcoholics. So,
right.
what that made me was, but I didn't know that was any difference. It was normal for us to go drinking. So,
yeah. So it was just growing up and understanding as
Right.
as growing older and seeing, family members and going through challenges and seeing my mom and dad suffer, worry and stress.
from your actions.
Yeah, and my brothers and
Right.
they're worrying about them, because they were older. I'm the youngest, and it's like, man, I don't want to put my mom through that. I don't want to put my parents through that. So, got involved in sports, and I was very involved in baseball and that activity. Once going in high school.
You play baseball.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
So that was fun.
What base?
I played third base, pitched, and then after the injury, first base.
Oh, so you got an injury. What happened?
Shoulder injury.
Okay.
So I had some rotator cuff surgery. So.
Cool.
Didn't know that about him.
No. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Ruben had those inclinations.
Oh yeah.
So are you a Dodgers fans or?
No.
I'm
a baseball fan.
You're a baseball fan.
Yeah.
No team.
No team.
Good. Okay. Perfect.
He doesn't want to lose,
He-
audience or
Yeah.
The
clients.
Astros won the World Series, right?
They did. They did.
And
they
we're in
did.
Houston.
Yep.
There you go.
We're in Houston. A lot of crazy things happened to Houston in the last year, 2017. The Astros won, We had Hurricane Harvey, which, at the same time, you got
We hosted the Super Bowl.
we hosted Super Bowl.
Oh wow.
And it was a mixed feelings years for Houston, because we had great things happen to our community, but we also had devastation like Harvey. But I think all the good things are helping overcome all the bad things that happen. So
Yeah, it's a very strong and resilient
yeah.
city.
So you play baseball. You got out of the environment that you were in back then. Yeah, you saw as normal. What happened afterwards? Who do you become?
After high school, I got a job being a welder.
Okay.
At una fábrica. It was
All
at
right.
a industrial welding, and I did that for 6 years. And then the 5th year, I was like, "Is this all I'm gonna be? Is this that's it?" And I went back to school. Went to junior college, and I took their Toyota program, the automotive program, and got certified as an auto mechanic.
So you know a little bit about Camrys and Corollas.
Oh, yeah,
and
that was, and I ended up graduating there, and I became entry-level lube tech. They used to call me a luber juicy oil change guy. and it was funny, but that's, understanding you start from the bottom and grow, and understand and learn. And I did that for 15 years.
15 years.
years.
Wow.
And Prius, ASC's Master Certified, Toyota Master Certified. And even at that point, I was like, is this all I'm going to do? Turn wrenches the rest of my life. And at that time, the opportunity came up to get into mortgage and real estate. So I did a whole career change.
That is a complete career change,
Yeah.
going from under the hood
Yep.
into wearing a suit and tie.
Yeah, so now that was a whole change, but took in that mindset of always, accomplishing something, just like a vehicle. When you have that fulfillment of you fixed the car, and now doing mortgage loans, it's like, how are we going to make this work? Mm-hmm. So it's the same concept of figuring things out, what has to be done, and following through what one says. In the mortgage industry, it pays very well. Mm-hmm. Well, back then,
Yeah.
and we did that for up to 2007.
So how long were you in the industry for, the mortgage industry?
Since 2002.
So you were about 5-6 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it went well. We were very successful. We're making 7 figures.
Wow.
And had a lot of money coming in, but when the market went down, so did the bank account.
So
Yeah, and I guess California, we're talking about,
big houses,
the average
$1 million
is over
homes.
$1 million. So
Yeah.
those commissions really.
Yeah, it was very profitable, and having that much money was amazing. But the mindset to manage that wasn't.
Right.
And
yeah, the person was not ready
No.
to
It
handle
was,
that.
Like the income was here, and the mindset and the managing skills were here.
Right.
And all of a sudden, when the market went down, I didn't know how to adjust.
Which is what happens to a lot of athletes.
Yeah.
A lot of athletes, they go out there, they make millions, and then they end up broke because their mindset is not where it's supposed to be. They don't know how to manage wealth and money and
exhausting resources of wanting to stay at that same
level,
right? Mm-hmm. With the same expenses and worrying about what other people will say if I would go get a job.
And the peer pressure.
The identity crisis of the identity conflict, which was ego.
Right.
It's like I was worried what they were going to say, because what happened to, the millionaire, now he's working for a bank or he's working for somebody.
Right.
And that was that mental block that I had, and so concerned of other people's opinions that I allowed that to exhaust all my resources. I was borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. I would call the utilities company to tell them I need an extension so I could pay the phone bill. And it was just so...
Well, the good thing is you started juggling. You learn how to juggle
exactly.
around.
Street
right?
smart. That's where the street smart tactics came in. Because you start borrowing from here, and then all of a sudden there's nowhere to go. Everyone, when they call them now, they don't pick up. And it was like, it got to that point. And it was a transition from, it's a slow fade into that. It just didn't happen overnight. Mm-hmm. And that's where it was just very enlightening to see, there was nowhere else to go.
Oh, wow.
There's nowhere else to go. And
so you go from being a mechanic, turning wrenches, which we actually got something in common, because I used to be a diesel mechanic.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I worked on engines, on ships, a little different. So you go from being a mechanic into being into the mortgage industry to make 7 figures.
Yeah.
You're riding high. Money's coming in.
Yeah, man,
You
it's
know,
like-
making it rain.
Yeah.
Then you get the crash, and then what happens? Like,
Man.
you go broke, right?
Yeah, and it was that time of, my ready to check out, when we were sharing yesterday on the event.
Did you have family? Sorry to interrupt, but did you have family at this point? Wife, kids?
Yeah, we had a wife. I was married.
Okay.
And that was challenging on the relationship as well.
Yeah, I bet. The pressure it puts in the.
Yeah, and having to be, the breadwinner, and there was just so much going on where that was just that point of ready to check out, and I was like, I don't need to be here, wanting to take the easy way out of having a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Right.
And that's what I was sharing, where I was on my knees and ready to end it, and I heard a voice that said, "It's not your life to take."
Wow.
And it was like very challenging. And at that time, almost 300 pounds, ready to go, and it wasn't my life to take. It wasn't ready to go because, when I was so lost, I didn't know where to go, and I was always hearing this little voice of saying, "You're nothing. Look at you. What happened to the person? What happened to the guy who used to be, on top, the man?" And it was that demeaning voice was coming from someone else, because when it's empowering, voices can only come from two places, either up there or down there. Right. And if it's to empower you, it comes from up there. If it's to degrade you and humiliate you, it comes from down there. And that was that internal conflict of dealing with that voice. And when I heard the voice from up that said, "It's not your life to take, stand up," and it was time to stand up. I mean, if I could, because I was so gone, I was in a hotel room for 5 days. It's like, wow, how could you be that? And I was always resistant before to share this part of my life, but I see that it will empower others who maybe are going through challenges, because suicide is not something we discuss openly.
No.
Because it exposes one's inability to handle situations in life.
That's right.
And now understanding that that's a position that some people take, that there's help out there, and just to reach out, that's why I'm not one to judge, because, my brother-in-law and my sister took me to a center in Mexico, a treatment center, a Christian treatment center, and that was where everything just turned around.
So your turning point is, I guess, when you hear this voice saying, "It's not your life to take, stand up."
Mm-hmm.
And from that moment on, a transformation starts.
Yeah, and I mean, things started happening, and it was a challenge. It was a leap of faith. It was like, because I didn't get there overnight. So I understood that I had to build back up what was broken.
Mm-hmm.
And the relationships that I had were no longer ones to associate with. And things started happening, and like I shared, when I had, we used to have the Mercedes and all these cars, and I was a 93 Previa van, He used to call me El Raspayelos.
Yeah, he went from having the S500, into the little minivan. I don't even know if that thing is a minivan or what, It's
like
a weird.
Spaceship, they say.
It's like I call it the egg. Because it looked like an elongated egg.
Yeah, there you go. And that's what I had, and I started doing, coaching and things for other companies coming back in the industry, and that's when I would park my car. Like, if we would have an event, I would park my car like 2 buildings down in the back, and I would walk out, suited and booted,
Because you still have those limiting beliefs,
Right.
that if they saw what you were driving, they were going to put a tag on you
Right.
and said, "Oh, look, he dresses well, but he drives that car." Right?
Yeah, and that was that identity conflict, once again, of being concerned of what other people will say. And now understanding that once we own our true value and identity and who we represent and who we are, what other people say of us is none of our business, and we don't need their approvals.
Correct.
The need for approval from others is our insecurities, or was my insecurity, but now I know who I am, and that won't shake me, because that's their filters, that's their opinions, and I don't need approval, because once we own our value, that I know where we're at and what I have to bring to the table.
So let's rewind a little bit. So you're depressed. You're thinking there's got to be a way out, and I'm going to take the easy way out, right? And then you hear the voice, you stand up, and you decide to say, okay, now I heard the voice to say stand. It's not your life to take. And you get into that treatment center, right, in Mexico.
Right.
How was that? Like, how did the treatment center help you? basically?
It was all Bible driven.
All Bible driven. So it was a lot of reading, a lot of studying.
A lot of reading, and it was in Spanish.
Right.
So
that's where you polished the Spanish.
Yeah. So that's where I was like, I had a Spanish Bible and I had an English Bible, and I was translating, and my Spanish got better and better, and understanding that was it. That was the bottom.
How long were you at that center?
3 months.
3 months.
3 months. Mm-hmm.
All right. So in 3 months, you pretty much let go of a lot of your feelings, cleaned up, all sorts of wounds and things that you had inside, and then you got out of the treatment center, and then what? What do you do?
Came back to California, and I started wrenching again with Toyota.
Okay, so you went back to your old job.
Yeah,
it's like driving a bicycle, right?
Yeah, do what I had to do, and then everything started happening, and remaining faithful to the calling, and remaining understanding that things happen in life, and it's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay, and to come back and use that as strength to say, this is what I overcame. So there's nothing else that I know in life that I'll get that I won't be able to overcome, because greater is He who is in me.
You went through worst already, so
So
down to the bottom.
Down to the bottom of the barrel.
Yep.
I know what it feels like. I've been there.
And then now in the environment and surrounding myself, like today's post on Facebook is like, birds of a feather flock together, and we subconsciously pick up people's habits of who we hang around with. And
that's right.
That's why when we connected at the event, it's like there's something I was sharing with your mother that when we met, it's like there was something about Ricardo where we just connected.
The universe, it was pulling us together.
And as time passed, you'd call, hey, what's going on? And it would just pick up just like that.
Yeah.
Like no time had passed.
That's right.
So go ahead.
No.
No, I was going to ask. So you're going back to being a mechanic. At what point did the whole training, did the whole personal development thing started to to work in your life, where you started considering? Right?
Yeah, I went to an event, the Millionaire Mind Intensive.
Okay, so you were a mechanic and went to MMI.
Yeah, no, that was when I was coming out with. Yeah, so it was in that transition state.
Okay.
Where that's when went to the MMI, still had some money, and it was went into one of their programs, and that's where I started meeting other like-minded people. Where I was like, this stuff's cool,
right?
How the mind works, and it just took off from there.
Right. So you were a student of, well, you still are, but you started being
never stopped learning, right?
Yeah, you never stopped learning. So, but you started being a student of personal development because you were going through your own struggles, right? And then you surrounded yourself with a bunch of people that were looking into other things. You're like, man, this is so great. And you had less at the time, right? But you probably felt better than when you even had all that money coming in. And,
there's a lot of stress, a lot of worry, a lot of false beliefs.
Right. Right. So you go through the MMI. You started, I guess you took under Quantum Leap back. I don't know what they called it back then.
Same thing.
I don't know if they call it the same thing right now, but because I'm part of the same thing. So we kind of like were the same students. I went to an MMI as well, and that's where I met Ruben. But he was already at training. I was recruiting people. So, because I said, look, man, when I was doing network marketing, I looked at all these events and I said, this is just people looking for a better way.
Right.
So I know I'm going to be their better way. I just got to put myself in it. But, the last that I did was recruit people. I became a student and I bought into the whole program and everything. And look, now we're doing a podcast a few years later.
Right.
So it was part of my transition into, it was my preparation from going on from the corporate world into what, full-time entrepreneur now. So I understand what Ruben went through at the time, although the feelings might be different because he was there for a reason and I was there for another reason. Right. And I'm pretty sure that everybody goes there for a different reason. But they're all looking for guidance and a light. And so you go through the Quantum Leap. Who do you become after that? How was the transformation?
It was there was at one of the courses. There's a gentleman, Nick Clinton Swain. He had his company called Frontier Trainings.
Okay.
And it's experiential games where you do different archetypes, very, very stretching the comfort zone, so to speak. And I became a trainer with him. And that's where I started learning a lot. Started crewing events and volunteering and then building up that understanding of how the industry works, and then met other people through that, where I met Michael Stevenson. He was one of the presenters at an event I was emceeing, and that's where the NLP came in.
Okay.
Where he was presenting his stuff as far as being NLP person,
Now, did you know anything about NLP before
Not
that?
at all.
Can you tell people that don't know what NLP is?
Yeah, Neuro Linguistic Programming. It deals with the subconscious mind. Neuro is the nervous system. Linguistics is the language of the mind, and programming is all our past events, all our past programming, all of our upbringings from the womb, and sometimes even before the womb.
Yeah.
So it's all the neuro-linguistic programming. So it's dealing with the conscious, subconscious mind and how the mind works.
Excellent. Okay.
So for those of you that are watching, we had an event this weekend where we invited a couple of friends from the real estate market here in Houston, Erica and Maria Isabel. Hi.
Hola.
And we also had a bunch of their friends and associates. And what Ruben presented this weekend was very powerful. We had a lot of aha moments this weekend, and I'm pretty sure everybody else had the same moments. But we basically tailor Ruben's training to basically real estate in what we do, which is negotiate properties.
Yeah.
How to be a more effective communicator when it comes to dealing with distressed sellers. We wanted to present to our audience what it is like to use all these tools in order to connect with the sellers and in order to get more contracts. And let me tell you what, man, the response that we had
Has been phenomenal.
I mean, all the attendants, they left and they were like, they wanted more. They were so happy they were here this weekend. We were getting messages.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Ruben, you're great. When are you coming back again? And so we're going to do another event, April. I don't have the dates yet, but it's towards the end of April. I think it's 28, 29, something like that. We talked about last night. It's limited seating. So
Yeah.
if you want to be here that weekend, you start getting in contact with Erica and Maria Isabel. You start getting in contact with us. It's limited seating. We only got 30 seats. So we're not trying to fill up rooms. We're not trying to do upselling from the stage or any of that stuff. What we want to do is we want to help you be a better negotiator, whether it is in your job, with your kids, with your husband or your wife. The NLP is a very powerful tool to use when negotiating, and Ruben delivered 110%. I usually say 100%, but he really went above and beyond.
And it was amazing to see everyone's transformation, because this is the third training I've done with Same as Cash with your company, and every training is like the participants, there's this quality that increases at every training.
Yes.
And like when we shared last night, we're debriefing of the event about how the quality of the room, of the individuals that were here, were so on the same frequency and accord that there was this frequency of love, giving, contribution, compassion, empathy, and what was being shared, and the breakthroughs and the support. And it's all because of the leadership. That's the leadership, because it's all a reflection. The company's a reflection of the leaders, bottom line. Yeah. And what you allow are quality people. Like you said, 30 people. We don't want quantity. We want the quality individuals, and that's what you did.
It's a very personal training. So, we do some exercises, some role-playing, and we want to keep the groups, small in order to make the best out of the training. So, like Ricardo said, it's going to be limited sitting. So, make sure you get with any of us in time so you don't miss out.
Yeah, because we developed exclusively for Same as Cash.
That's right.
Exclusively. So
that's right.
And this is, like I said, the third training, and to see, the success, because there are certain individuals that are still here from the prior trainings as well, and some are in it, some are not, which is great. It's for some, it's for not. But the ones that are here and stick and stay, they will get.
But I tell you what, we have our friend Kevin. He's now working as a salesperson.
At a car dealership.
Yeah, at a car dealership. And he tells me, "Sir Ricardo, all that training that I got from Ruben, man, he's coming in handy now."
Yeah, so Kevin, if you're out there, you and your wife, the family, hola.
Yeah. So he's actually taking a pretty good advantage of what he took back then. Today in his life.
And that's what you do. You empower not only for your business, but other people for their lives.
Absolutely. It's about their lives,
It's a heart-based company.
more they grow, the more we grow, and we know that we're doing a great impact. But going back to you, Ruben, going back to you, this is about you, not about us anymore. So you got into the whole self-development. You became a greater person.
Yeah.
You became a bigger person spiritually,
Yes,
and in your mind as well. How what has been, because I know you're still not probably, I wouldn't say at the top, you're always at the top, but what has been the highest from these last few years? I believe so. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's probably speaking at the United Nations. And
Yeah, that was impactful when being able to share what we do in the community as far as with the youth and juvenile hall.
Right.
We have a foundation, Stand Development Foundation, and what we do in the community of help the youth and juvenile hall, Stand Development, and the reason why I point is reverencing.
Yeah.
Up
When
there,
when
stand.
he actually shared this yesterday, but he was when he was told to stand up.
Yeah.
So,
So my company, Stand Development, my foundation, Stand Development Foundation, is when I was told to stand. So everything is stand.
where
Trust.
can we get your book? And actually, this is more. Can you talk a little bit about
it's
this?
a success guide, and it's a weekly journal for success. I give you a quote that's NLP based with NLP language patterns, and it allows one to gain clarity of where they're going in life. And every day you write something that's relating to the quote. Why is it important? What action step, and how will you feel once you apply that action step? And it's every day, 52 weeks. So it's a yearly success guide, guaranteed for success when you apply yourself. So you can get that on standwithruben.com, and it's great. It's amazing.
Perfect.
So tell us a little bit about, you mentioned the
Yeah.
foundation. You mentioned things that you're doing. Kind of like guide us through the process until you were called to, speak at the United Nations.
Yeah, and that was from the Peace Summit in Korea that I met a gentleman, Rabbi Cohen, on a taxi cab ride back to the hotel. And he called out, a couple of years later, and he says, hey, we're having an event, and if you want to come and share and speak, and because we're having other dignitary leaders from other religions and other places sharing, and it's brief, and we got in there, and it was amazing to see from the actions that were taken from standing up, that it's like, wow, this is pretty cool. It's just like, homeboy from the
you
neighborhood.
probably never imagined, right, that you'd be speaking in front of 200,000 people.
Well, there was like that whole amazing thing, and we had a peace summit here in Los Angeles as well, with HWPL, and that's another one with 170 dignitary leaders that were, coming around, and it's just what's happening, and it's just accepting and receiving all what's going on, and not wanting to figure things out, of just knowing by remaining faithful that way, other things will come, like our relationship. That's
Absolutely.
So what does the foundation do exactly?
Yeah, we help the youth go in there, and I speak to parolees as they get released from doing 5 to 40 years in prison, so they could transition into society, about mindset using NLP.
Okay.
Yeah, you doing that, and feeding the homeless. We do that every Tuesday in downtown Santa Ana. And
I've seen your videos when
Yeah.
you do the feeding the homeless.
Yeah.
They're actually pretty
And we're
empowering.
talking about that as well. We're discussing that, and there's some people that out there that they're going to be there, but there's the other individuals that just need a helping hand.
Yes.
They're going through a situation in life, a season in life, that they lose their job, they don't have family, they don't have the means of way, because I know a lot of people that are 2 paychecks away from being homeless, losing their home.
Yeah.
So it's not that far as what one thinks about being homeless.
Actually, statistically, about 90% of the U.S. Population is 2 paychecks away from being
Yeah.
homeless.
Or losing their home, or going through that
Yep.
NOD, notice of default, all that process, and being out there and being able to share it, because there's that contribution that rides high on me that need to fulfill that part of me, is giving the foundation. And I'm speaking with Prince George from Ghana, and I'm going to send him some funds, because we help the youth over there, the challenge youth there. They sew scarves and stand, and we sell them over here. That way they could have funds out there in Ghana. And as soon as I get back, we've been in communication, and he's going to have a youth event this weekend, and they'll be posting stuff of Stand and our branch out there in Ghana. And it's just
So
being obedient to the whisper.
You're impacting young kids or people in the other side of the world, in Africa.
It's like, how did that happen?
Right.
It's like, I don't know, but, being obedient to the whisper, that's what it is. Because I was like, all of a sudden, go ahead and send it. And that's when I texted it, and it was like, woo, but that's, being obedient. That's what
Wow.
don't resist it.
Wow. So where are you going next? What's next for Ruben? Now you're training people, you're training us, you're training other organizations. I know you train real estate agents, you train brokers, you train all sort of. Talk about. Let's talk about you on how what
Your
kind of
business
client.
side.
What is your business like? Your
Yes.
clients. How does it work?
StanWithRuben.com. That's my company, Stan Development. And right now we're working with Adam Flores and his brother Johnny to put online products. We're doing, different programs. When I get back to California today, we have an appointment tomorrow, and we're putting a whole line of products, online products, that we'll be offering on my website.
Okay.
And being more on that level, and also going out and speaking with another company, SRA. I'm one of their trainers, so we're going to do another event. I'm going to be in Dallas next week. And then I have another event with Mark Cusick in Las Vegas at the end of the month, the 27th, 28th, and I'll be speaking there. And it's just, going out speaking, because like there was one where I shared, if I'm not speaking, if I don't speak once a week out in front, I feel it. If I don't speak within 2 weeks and I go out and speak, my audience feels it.
I see.
So I stay busy in front of people, either the weekly calls or on these offices, to go out and master and sharpen my axe as far as being able to deliver the best content that I'm capable of. Because if not, then I'm stealing from the people in front of me of not giving them the full 100% of what my purpose was that I was committed to do when I stood up.
And you're doing a lot of personal coaching as well, correct?
Yeah, I do coaching.
So if you guys want to do some coaching, just make sure you hit up Ruben.
Yeah.
Or get in contact with us. We'll get you in contact with Ruben. We'll love to propel his business to the next level, whatever the next level for him means. Not to us, but it's his level, right? So just get in contact with us. Ruben can help you in many different aspects, not only on NLP but on motivation and
direction and what There's no judgment here. There's no judging. Whatever's going on, share. And I'm open. I'm open and very accessible. Somebody say, why are you so accessible? It's just, you never know. I never know who sent that person to me for help.
Yes.
I'm open and, being in tune with, and also, like you're saying, what's next for me is like with your company where you're growing and, looking to take that out to California. We're talking about that. So
Right.
always open to opportunity and other business ventures that we have going on. And that's being open and understanding where there's credibility and there's opportunity, take advantage. Don't allow other people's opinions to direct your future success.
Excellent.
That's why I'm here.
Ruben's energy is amazing. I mean,
So let's get down to meat and potatoes a little bit because we still got a little bit of time. And what I like for Ruben, I want to put him on the spot right here in front of the camera.
Steady as a rock.
So for the ones that are watching, Ruben, is there some wisdom that you can share on as far as personal development, NLP, some maybe steps that they can follow or do, or some instructions that they can apply in order for them to be better with themselves, better in their business, better with their family? What can you share very quickly? Nothing. It does not have to be very structured, but in order for someone to be better, to better their lives, based on your experience.
Take a deep breath in, let it out. That's it. I'm just kidding.
I did it.
It's relaxing.
that helps.
Yeah.
And understand when we're overwhelmed, it's just we got so many things happening in our mind. Step back, take a deep breath in, and really analyze what's going on and write it down on a piece of paper. Where are we at? And also understand when you're ready to make a change, there's going to be resistance because you're moving forward. Because if there wasn't resistance, then you would be stuck in that, like a buoy in the water, not moving anywhere. So when you're ready and you're feeling that resistance, that means you're growing. And when you're growing, that means you're going to be going through something that may be challenging, but realize the benefit from that challenge you're overcoming. the value you will receive, and most likely your family will receive as well, when you cross that finish line and saying, gee, I'm glad I did. Because if you're at a point where you're being challenged, many times it's because you said, darn, I wish I had, so many times. But when you think and understand, I'm going to have resistance, but it's only because that's how the mind works when there's change happening, realize the value you will receive when you cross that finish line.
Wow.
It's part of the process.
How powerful is change?
Amazing. Change is powerful when it's going to benefit you and your family and the people around you. And understand, if we're not growing, we're dying. We're living. If a plant is not growing, it's dying. So understand, we're growing every day. And if we don't accomplish something, there's a learning in everything we do. There's a learning. And once we get that learning, that allows us to gain more knowledge, have more wisdom. And when we have more wisdom, we'll realize that we don't have to prove ourselves to anybody, because we know it's part of the process. And as when one of my friends used to sit with Jim Rome when they opened Herbalife, and I asked her, how was he? And she says he would just sit there and watch and observe. Jim Rome, just sit there and watch and observe people. And that's what happens when we understand ourselves and our true values. We don't have to talk so much, because our actions, we understand, will talk more than the words that we speak.
Yep.
With the posture and the self-esteem, as we talked about.
Wow. So that's mind-blowing, man. You know what, a lot of people, what happens is they resist to change, and they keep on doing everything, the same way every day, over and over and over again, and they expect different results. Like the person that goes to the same job every day, which, by the way, I'm saying there's nothing wrong with that, okay? It's just that some people want to go to their same job every day and then become multimillionaires. That's not going to happen unless you play the lottery, right? And then what happens is a lot of these lottery winners, they end up losing their money. And it's very similar to what happened to Ruben back then, when he didn't have the mindset to keep the income coming, right? Or to shift from one industry to the other one and keep that income coming.
Right.
Because it just happened to be, circumstantial at the time that you got there by the shining object. Oh, I'm gonna go become a mortgage broker or a mortgage. I don't know if you were a loan officer or what, but and then you go, okay, it's gone. What do I do now?
Yeah, it was like the book "Who Moved My Cheese."
Right.
It's like waiting for people invested their cheese. They went and put somewhere else, and there's the little mouse who just ate the cheese. It's like, okay, there's no more. And that's how I was. I was the one that was like, whoa, there's no more. Now what do I do? And start pawning the Rolexes, start, pawning all kinds of stuff that they say you spend so much for something because you want to prove to other people that you sell for it less than what you pay
Why
for.
do people seek for approval from other people? Why is that?
That's validation. It makes them feel worthy. Because it's like when people's like, oh, you look great. Like there's a book, Don Miguel Ruiz, The Four Agreements. Like, Don Miguel, you look so great. It's like, oh, thank you. Oh, man, what happened? You look bad. Oh, so now our mind, our body, we like validation. We like when people say, hey, you look amazing. Oh, you look great. We love that. We seek that. But many seek it more than others. And when we're looking for always validation from others, it allows us to see where our self-esteem is at. When we always need that reassurance, how do I look? Do I look good? It's like when you have that confidence and posture, you're at the best you're able to be at that time because you're there. But when you need somebody to tell you you look good and you're like, okay, I got a great day. But what happens when somebody says you don't look as good? You have a bad day? So it's that waving of the validation and significance from an outside source when truly, really, it's from within us, what comes from within, what comes from up there. Because we're all made in the image, or I feel, for me, I'm in the image of it. For whatever you believe, that's, but for me, that's who I am. That's what I represent.
Right. Wow. Well, he just speaks and I learn, right? Or we learn.
We all learning right here.
So we.
You're just speechless, trying to,
to absorb and
That's all.
process
I was
the
looking for a
information.
flip
That's
chart.
the word I was looking for. Process.
We're looking for the flip charts,
We're-
but it was a comfort zone. I was like,
yeah,
where's the-
okay, where's
we had
that?
all kinds of flip charts up here. It was like, it was so colorful and all the, what you shared as well with everyone, when you guys did the role playing part.
Right.
This training was brought yesterday and the day before. It was a stand training, but you were the presenters as well when you did your part as far as role playing.
Because
So
we
you did your thing.
wanted to adjust it to our business, right,
Yeah.
and to our audience, and that's the little twist that we gave it.
The flexibility of remember at lunch, hey, after lunch, let's do this. Go ahead, and you guys took it around with it, and everybody would just went like growing even more and more from actually doing the process, not only hearing it.
Yeah, you're not here just taking notes and taking notes back
We
to.
put you to work.
Yeah, it's like this. Okay, that was cool. All right. No, it's like, get up. Let's do it. Apply.
So, a quick message, Ruben, to the audience. What do you suggest people should do in order to better themselves?
Yeah, once you identify what your desires are internally of what you really want, and it's going to benefit you inside and your family, there's always that internal values that we possess that drive us. And realize what are the values you possess and what arena you could apply those in, and most important, be that product of your environment. If it's to be successful, surround yourself with successful people. If it's to be, in this arena, your market, be that person and understand there's going to be the challenge, and stay in long enough for your success to catch up with you. Stay in long enough for your success to catch up with you.
I get it.
And what people say, if you think success happens overnight, it doesn't. It's the cultivating process of remaining faithful through the challenges, and you could only grow as high as your foundation is deep. So when you're rooted deep in your beliefs and your values of where you're going and the storms of life come, you will be knocked down, but you won't be knocked out. Like Les Brown says, if you get knocked down, land on your back, because if you can look up, woo, that means you can get up. That's Les
good.
Brown right there.
That's good. So just to kind of like recap, I just want to ask, who you mentioned you have, your personal training, but who else is your client? Who can contact you? I mean, if there's a company owner out there or a CEO, I mean, who's your client? People that are looking for what?
Yeah, for success. And I was doing trainings with Hugh Nguyen. He's a county clerk recorder in Orange County. So I train the county employees, as far as negotiating, handling objections, customer satisfaction, team building. So if there's corporations out there, if there's real estate companies, any type of company that's looking to better their employees as far as communication, self-development, as far as getting out of their comfort zone, getting clarity of where they're going in life, team building, managers, any corporations out there, or even foundations, I'm open to speak, so contact me. And like we were talking about when Erika came here and Maria, and you brought them and you connected with them, and they're looking to grow and expand. So you guys are directing that, and then we're all coming along together. So it's whoever's open to opportunity as far as bringing these values and dynamics, principles and strategies to your employees, to your team, contact me, because everything is always open and negotiable.
There you go.
Like
so
it.
we're gonna have Ruben's information on our, when we publish this on our podcast and YouTube channel. So you'll be able to find him. His email, website. But
Yeah.
if you want to go ahead and read.
standwithruben.com is my website, and ruben@rubenmata.com is my email. And I want to throw a shout out to Rasta. He's the audio video guy. He just popped up right now. He's been helping me a lot in the
Rasta?
he's the AV and Tony. There's a lot of people that help me out.
I know Rasta.
Yeah, hit it, Rasta. So we did some trainings, Zoom trainings. He's
He from
amazing.
Jamaica?
He's so amazing and very humble and always open to help. And I've grown so much in the seminar speaking industry because of him, Tony, and all the other individuals, the trainers. But he just popped up right now. So
Hi, Rasta.
yeah, if you're there, homeboy, and we'll see you next week in Dallas.
Excellent.
Perfect. So, well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to go. Thank you so much, Ruben, for being here
Thank
today.
you very much.
Thank you, everyone watching for being from this Facebook Live. This video will not stay on Facebook. It will actually be on YouTube next week.
Yeah.
It will be on renovatingrichesradio.com. It will be on renovandoriquezas.com. Go ahead and hit like and subscribe.
Subscribe and like.
That is how we keep it flowing.
Like running
very
water.
important.
Flowing like running water.
So with that being said, thank you so much. Have a blessed day.
Have a nice trip back to California, Ruben.
And enjoy your journey and going all the way to the top.
That's it.
Excellent.
bless.
Bye, everyone.
Welcome to RenovatingRichesRadio.com with your hosts, Dennis Rodriguez and Ricardo Rosales. The show where we talk about turning rags into riches.